What it is, what's up? Got a video in the cut. Marvel. Marvel, let's go. Love Marvel. Okay, so if you've been not under a rock, supersized to be an even bigger rock, um, Marvel has not had the best reputation as of late. Cookie cutter, formulaic. You've seen this 1,000 times. Different adjectives to describe a Marvel movie, or even, as I understand, TV shows. I haven't watched a TV show since the Captain Falcon one. I just, I felt what people are feeling now with the movies after watching Captain Falcon. I was like, this is nothing. There was nothing that I got out of that watching that show. There's some good moments. There's some bad moments. It was enjoyable at times. It was a waste. It didn't feel like a waste of time, but it felt like time was just basically being wasted. It's like eating Taco Bell. You're just trying to eat to eat. It's no enjoyability in what you're eating, obviously. If you wanted that, you'd get something better than Taco Bell. But there's trade-offs to what you choose, and sometimes you just want some basic nonsense. And that's what Marvel has felt like for this phase, I would honestly say. For what I've seen, I haven't seen most of the egregiously bad things, I guess, other than Thor, Love, and Thunder. Supposedly, that's one of the more egregious offenders. But I haven't seen Shang-Chi, which I heard is actually good. I haven't seen Eternals. Most of the TV shows, actually all the TV shows after Captain Falcon, I haven't seen. It's just not. It's not enough there. I think what Marvel is suffering from is that a concept that's in a Marvel movie will be explained in another Marvel movie or TV show. I have never watched Loki, and I have full context to everything that has been presented in this arc or this phase that was initially presented in there. Variants, gotten that beaten over the drum, even in this movie, which is the first time Kang returns since Loki. Kang, I've gotten enough understanding what makes Kang in this movie, and just so forth and so forth. I mean, like multiverse of madness, Spider-Man. Like, it's just all of these moments, all these things that are supposed to be relevant to this specific phase, you're going to see over and over again. And maybe I'm being nitpicky because I'm starting with this phase. I didn't start with phase one. I may have started with phase two. I think that would have been with Captain America Winter Soldier. Anyway, I might have started phase two. I know I would have been there for phase three, the entirety of that. But this is the first, you've had your proof of concept of this franchise working. Now you have to innovate onto that proof of concept. This is what every social media network is going through right now. It's like how to innovate on basically a beaten formula. How to compete with TikTok, who's the new kid in town. Marvel is having to figure out how to make something feel interesting and new for the first time, even though they are constrained by their own success and basically the expectation of what a Marvel movie is. How does Marvel break the mold? And Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy are pretty much the franchises that are supposed to feel different. They're the ones that have a little bit more leeway. They can be more, obtuse, maybe. Just more transparent on what they are. I mean, they don't have to be these super serious, either artsy Marvel movies or serious solemn Marvel movies. They don't have to be that. They can just be pretty much lighthearted. And I thought this, I'm not going to give a whole review because it didn't make me feel anything strong one way or the other. It had some moments where I laughed. It had some moments where I kind of cringed. And it had some moments where I was like, okay, this franchise is able to give this point of view in a way that another one can't. I mean, I would say pretty much Guardians of the Galaxy and this are interchangeable in terms of their style of humor. I don't think they're very different. Even at this point, Thor is kind of comedic, but it can't commit to the bit. Thor is literally just fucked. There's nothing you can do with Thor. Thor, I feel like it's just a sunk cost of the franchise. You need to have Thor movies because you have Thor, and until Thor is killed or whatever, you're not going to get rid of Thor. And Thor has some concepts that are integral in the Marvel comics that only Thor can provide. He's the only god really that's in this universe. So there's a point of view that's only accessible through Thor, for at least for the time being. Even though franchise was fucked. But back to this. I thought it was okay. I just thought it was fine. I can't see any reason why somebody would hate this movie other than the fact they're just sick and tired of the Marvel movie. If it's almost like a concept, like the Michigan Man. The Marvel movie is this ideal that has been time tested at this point, especially by Phase 4 products. And I just think at this point, if you don't like that, you're not going to like just about any Marvel movie. I can't see one single Marvel movie you would fuck with if you just are sworn off of Marvel movies. I just don't. I don't think there's anyone that could possibly flip you back to being like. I think there's a lot of people who were Marvel fans pre-Phase 4 that are not Marvel fans at this point. And at this point, I just don't know what you can do to bring them back in. We just have to keep on going until we get to the big Fox products. That's pretty much it. My whole thought for the whole middle part of this movie is that we just need to get to the Marvel products, or not the Marvel products, the Fox products. Once we get to that point, once we get to the Fox movies, Marvel has a escape. Disney as a whole has an escape with the Marvel franchise because they kind of need to figure this shit out. They need to there needs to be some leeway that's given by Disney to let Marvel spread its wings a little bit. And hopefully with Daredevil, well, not just the Fox products now, but it's also the Netflix kind of products. With Daredevil, with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and the Fox products, X-Men and Fantastic Four, and specifically Doom, that's the only way they can get out of this. They have to reach into those universes that were not built by them, or at least were not made what they are because of Marvel. It sounds kind of fucked, but really this movie is just, to me, another stepping stone to get to those points that are not the Marvel characters that we have come to know from this universe. Kang is well developed. He was great. I loved Kang. Kang is a MCU product. He's been developed. He's supposed to be the big bad. I perfectly fine with Kang. But the rest of this movie is like, how distant is this movie from what you might have experienced during Thor? Or how different was Thor than what you might have experienced during Doctor Strange? It's just that there's too much Marvel in every Marvel movie. And I know this sounds ridiculous, like I'm complaining about something that shouldn't be a complaint. But the problem is that this is the fucking, movies as a whole have been affected by this franchise to such a point that people who don't even give a shit about Marvel movies kind of have to have an opinion about Marvel movies. If you were just a cinephile that just loved the theater experience and kind of liked the movies that generally succeeded in theaters at one point in time, that audience, that narrative, that whole scope has shifted in such a way that's not only because of Marvel, also because of COVID in a way, but COVID and Marvel have shifted the theaters in such a fucking crazy way that they both have to be mentioned. And we're not making a COVID review, so fucking there's Marvel. I'm not mad by this movie. I'm not mad about Marvel as a whole with this phase. There's just a lot of shit that just needs to be basically to be fast forward or limited. You either need to make these products feel like they are one of one, the same way that you read a Doctor Strange comic to get a different experience you would have got from a Spider-Man comic, or you need to just shorten the cycle. There just doesn't need to be fucking, I think the first Avengers, the two-parter with Kang, is 2025. So the last phase 3 was 2018 or 19, one of the two. I think it was the Spider-Man movie before No Way Home. I think it was the last phase 3. So 7 years. I mean, it's shorter than the 10-year phase we got with the previous one, because that was 2008 to 2018, Iron Man 2. But even then, it's 7 years. But the problem is that it's 7 years with fucking 90 Marvel products. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. And that's all I'm going to say. It's too much. You either need to have less content to make a movie like this feel I don't know, more interesting, or you need to have, basically that's what I'm saying, shorter time span or less content. That's how I would divvy it up. Or there's a third option, but not a realistic one. Just tear down the boundaries. Tear down the wall, Gorbachev. Let these directors put out like really, I don't know, dude. Like, is Marvel going to let Raimi make an Evil Dead movie? No. It's going to be what Evil Dead would be like in a Marvel universe. Are they going to let Christian Bale be all of what Christian Bale could be? Not exactly. I mean, it's got to be limits because it's got to fit in this fucking universe. And Feige, again, has produced proof of concept of making this shit work. But it's just got to be something fresh. This is not. I'm gonna end this here because it's not a Ant-Man 3 review. There's nothing about Ant-Man 3 that's worth reviewing, in my opinion. It's nothing that's new here that you won't see anywhere else. There's a couple of... There's Kang. This is the first Kang movie, I guess. If you want to see what Kang will look like, here you go. I don't know if we needed a Thanos movie before we got Thanos. I don't know if we need a Doom movie before we get Doom. I want a Doom movie before we get Doom. But I don't know if we need any of the big villain gets their own movie to show you how crazy the fucking big villain is. But in the scope when you have 2,000 fucking products, I guess to help people remember, holy shit, this guy is supposed to be the big bad, then okay, let's do a fucking Kang movie mid-phase to help remind people that this guy is the big bad. That's the purpose that this movie seems to serve to me. Why would they be an Ant-Man 4? Outside developing Cassie as her own character, what would be the point of Ant-Man 4? What's the point of another fucking Thor movie? Other than to show more gods. It's just product pushing. That's all these movies feel like. It's that you're pushing some product. None of these movies seem to have any value on their own merit. Or at least, I won't say none of them. I mean, I like Doctor Strange too. Spider-Man No Way Home was fucking cool because it pushed product, but it pushed product that was fucking fun to watch. I mean, that movie was fun to watch. It was good. But how good would it be if you didn't have the fucking two Spider-Man to kind of were milestones of your childhood? I'm not sure. But anyway, they got to do something new. I don't know what the next one. I think is Marvels. I think that's the next one coming up is the Marvels, which I mean, having fucking Brie Larson as I don't even hate on Brie Larson here. You have Brie Larson, who is probably the most blasé actress, at least in terms of the roles that she's given outside of Scott Pilgrim in Hollywood. Like maybe the most blasé now A-list actress that you have in Hollywood per roles, and really her facial expressions in general. I mean, yeah. You have the fucking soldier Marvel from WandaVision, who I don't have a opinion on Monica really as a person or as a character, I should say. She just kind of does not have real value, I guess. I think she also was the Marvel in Strange too. There's just nothing to even opine about her as a character. You have the one from the fucking TV show, which I haven't watched because there's fucking 800 TV shows too, but fuck. So you have, I would imagine, just a guess, I have not watched the Little Marvel at all, or Marvel, I'm not sure what her name is. But Little Marvel is probably going to be basically built up by the other two Marvel adjacent characters. The same way that pretty much in Strange 2, that movie is going to propel, I don't even remember her name, the girl that wanted to try to kill, probably going to propel her as the main point of the universe in the next phase. It's like WWE almost. Like you're putting, there's the faces that you've built up are being used to put over either heels or younger faces that are really baby faces need to be built up. And that's cool, except WWE and pretty much any sports entertainment nowadays, it's kind of hitting that wall where like people just don't want that type of, people want the greatest hits, want repetition. They don't want new feelings in that in that realm, it feels like sometimes. But many people do. Many people want new, but many people don't. And the problem is just, who are you listening to as the universe builder? That's the same thing Marvel has going on right now. A lot of people, and we're obviously not not as deep in that sensation, that phenomenon as WWE is, because that's been a progress existed for years and decades. But we're getting to the point where Marvel has to ask themselves, what are we willing to change? Because I imagine this won't affect even this phase. Like, this phase is probably already built out in terms of this movies, what's being shot, the screenplays, all that shit. I know Fantastic Four has gotten basically they have a new director, as I understand, but like almost all of the phase 4 stuff, I imagine, is pretty much planned at this point. But for at least the next phase, I'm pretty sure they have to ask themselves, how cookie cutter do we want to be? How much do we want to listen to that little Timothy and little Timothy's mama and try to hear what they deem acceptable in terms of a movie to watch or a TV show to watch? Then you listen to those motherfuckers and listen to the stakeholders. Because the stakeholders also, you sit there and listen to them, and you're like, oh, well, fuck. These people are watching Disney Plus. Disney Plus is a success in terms of its people that are coming to sign up for Disney Plus, but the problem is Disney Plus is leaking money as a product. And if Disney Plus can't be turned to a profit, then what does that do for that whole side of this universe? This is gonna be a whole different movie or video in of itself that I could do. But basically, Disney has a massive problem with their audience at this moment, and which audience they consider the one they want to listen to, especially. Disney as a whole, not just Marvel, but Disney as a. But Marvel also is the big part of that because it's the moneymaker in terms of the movies at this moment. I know that Avatar and all that, but Marvel. I don't know. But Guardian Galaxy 2, Guardian Galaxy 3, Ant-Man 3. Actually, Guardian Galaxy 3 is the next one up. I just thought about that. GOTG 3 is the next one up. That one should be good because of Adam Warlock alone. But Ant-Man 3 was fine. It was a fine moment. It's not going to be anything I think many people remember intrinsically. They're going to remember Kang was very fucking just brutal. Well, not brutal, I would say, but very impactful in his time out there. And they're going to remember that Cassie is going to be a star player at some point in this franchise. That's about it. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Marvel. Keep on doing your thing, Marvel. Except do it way different.